Have you ever dreamed of climbing onto the top of the mountain and screaming out of your lungs? Just imagine how you would feel. But what if we tell you that these mountains have the power to trap you inside without being able to return to your home? Here are the horrific accidents of 10 people who got abandoned on Mount Everest. Hold on to your last ray of hope and watch how these 10 people face unfortunate incidents. In number 10, we have Lincoln Hall. As he and his 10 mates enthusiastically climbed Mount Everest, little did they know that Lincoln would face cerebral edema. 28,000 feet above, he felt exhausted, he couldn't take a nap, and he wanted to take a rest. His teammates decided to continue their journey and left him behind. He and 2 Sherpas took a rest and waited for the return of his teammates. 9 hours passed and the Sherpas left the side of Lincoln just like his teammates. Lincoln experienced sudden freezing of his brain and inability to move and sat right there where they left him. He was found by a group of friends the very next day in horrific condition. He was completely frozen, covered in snow bites, and he could barely open his eyes as his tears were frozen and his eyelids stuck together. This kind of group let go of their mission to climb the mountain and decided to help Lincoln out. Finally, he was rescued and brought to life. On number 9, we have the abandoned corpse. In 1996, Tsewang Paljor climbed Mount Everest and lost his life. He was identified and known as Green Boots as he wore radiant green boots to the expedition to Mount Everest. He was selected for along with 9 other people. All the people except Harbhajan Singh lost their lives in this horrible expedition. This journey of theirs was held to mark their names in history by being the first Indians to climb Mount Everest from the north side. Harbhajan Singh, the sole survivor, was abandoned and he decided to discontinue his journey to come home. The rest of the people continued their journey and lost their impression lives to various health problems related to this expedition. The 28-year-old Tsewang was buried in the snow as he died horrifically on this tragic journey of mount climbing. On number 8, we have amateur mountain climbers. The number of people who are interested in mountain climbing has drastically increased with time. There is constant overcrowding in the mountains, as even inexperienced people with no basic knowledge of climbing are on Mount Everest with no basic equipment. In 2019, around 11 people froze to death as they were abandoned and lost on this enormous mountain. The death of George Mallory is number 7. On June 8, 1924, he lost his life despite being an experienced mountaineer. He was leading a group of hikers and suddenly he went missing on that expedition. His body was later on found, and many say that he suffered a dreadful fall and lost his life on that expedition. Are you enjoying the video so far? Would you like to watch more such interesting videos? If so, smash the subscribe button and press the bell icon to never miss a single video from Mountaineers. On number 6, we have David Sharp. He was laying frozen inside a cave fighting for his life, but no one saved him. 40 people passed through that cave, but none of them decided to save David. How cruel people could be. Why do you think these people never bothered to help this dying man? David lost his life and his body was dragged out of the cave by a group of friends. On number 5, we have Seamus Lawless. The Irish climber decided to unclip himself from a safety harness to urinate, but unfortunately, he was blown off Mount Everest and died. Sounds bizarre, but isn't this a horrendous way to die? On number 4, we have the deaths of Sherpas. Sherpas are the people who guide and help people to climb Mount Everest. They are locals who know every nook and corner of the mountains. Even though they're experienced in mountain climbing, many Sherpas die more often than inexperienced climbers, as they have to go and forth covering high altitudes in excruciating climate conditions. Many of the sheep would be abandoned or face deaths. It's inevitable as their job is one of the riskiest jobs in the world. Are you scared to know the top 3 horrific accidents? Press the like button for more courage and let's get on straight into the top 3. On number 3, we have Frances Arsentiev, who climbed Mount Everest along with her husband and created history by being the first American woman to reach Mount Everest summit without using any supplementary tanks. She and her husband decided to climb down as they were stuck in Camp 6 for 3 consecutive days due to the extreme climate condition. But unfortunately, Frances got separated from her husband and was later on found paralyzed. A group of people tried to rescue her, but had to abandon her in the middle of their mission as they ran out of oxygen tanks. Her husband died while dragging the frozen Frances down the mountain. Everyone refers to her as a sleeping beauty, as her body has frozen to a point where she looks waxy and white as snow. She fell into a never-ending sleep and died. On number 2, we have the trio. 3 Korean climbers lost their lives as they climbed Mount Everest. Their bodies never reached their homeland as it was nearly impossible to locate and bring their bodies. A team consisting of 14 people tried to find the abandoned bodies from Mount Everest, but they could only find one and were barely able to move it. After dragging the body down 500 feet, they ended their mission and returned home. Once you get lost on Mount Everest, there is no return. On number 1, we have Annalora Schmatz. She, along with her husband and a team of experienced mountaineers and Sherpas, set off their journey in fearsome climate conditions. She was determined to climb Mount Everest, even though her husband tried to warn her. Their group was split into 2, making Annalora climb the mountain with her friend, Ray Gannett. Both lost their lives after climbing to a higher altitude. Many found her body in a shocking condition, as her eyes were wide open, as if she was scared to death, and her hair was wide open, flowing with the wind. Do you still want to climb Mount Everest? If so, whom would you take along? Let us know your answers in the comment box. To never miss a video from Mountaineers, hit that subscribe button on your way out.